Running. I feel like this is your jam right now, too.
This tune.
Yeah.
I was explaining it to Namaste the other day.
Jackson is like he's not just a musician, he is a talented entertainer. And so we've got a little
As everybody knows by now.
Yeah, we've got a little 70s and 80s rock happening behind the scenes right here, and I'm looking at him like, this is your tune right now. You should just be killing it.
No saying so.
Well, welcome on in, everybody. We're going to need two things today, which is your normal 2 moderate weights, but also we're looking for a good heavy weight today, too. So I brought out the bag of baking soda. Jackson's got that pillow under his knee, kind of helps him with some certain things. If you notice things like that work for you, please don't hesitate to do so on your end. If you got any injuries, overall, pay attention to what you're doing. Slow things down. Don't be afraid to substitute something in if necessary. We do have 1 or 2 power options, and I'll be showing you your manageable options through the workout today. We've got our blind balance stuff, plus our core 4 and cardio. When we get into the meat and potatoes, it's that slow, moderate, fast, kind of 3 moves at 3 speeds combo, and we finish things up with some extended Tabata 30-10s. Will give us the wrap up from there. You can throw on some of your own tunes if you're ready for it. Let's go ahead and get ourselves standing up. We're going to be doing our warm-ups. We're going to start with those feet together. We're going to do that big step back for the world's greatest stretch. You're going to turn to the forward leg side first. Then we're going to plant the hand to the inside foot and kind of work on turning to the opposite. Then we stand. Awesome. Switch it. Big step. Let's rotate open. Pull the hand back. Hand goes to the inside of the foot. All right, down and standing with balance and power. So continue to let your hips sink a little bit down here. You can use that as kind of a good tool to open up the front of the legs. We'll go final one. All right, hand to the inside. Nicely done. Stand up nice and tall. All right, second movement, we're going to go archer squat. So we're going to have a really, really wide stance. And we're going to be doing a little bit of that walking out kind of plank style from here. So first up, sit back and down to one side. Bring the hands to the floor. Walk yourself out towards the center between the feet. Sit back and down, bending the knee, and push up through the heel. And reverse it, coming back. Sit back, walk it on up. Nice little plank before you kick into that opposite side. We'll do 2 more of these. All right, so get a grasp of your breath as we're warming up through here. Find a nice inhale, walk it on out, find an exhale, inhale, walk it in, and exhale, bring it on up. All right, feet come back together. We're getting into some balance next, which is going to be grabbing 1 foot behind us. We're going to reach out and go into that single leg deadlift position, come up tall, drop the foot, switch the foot. Just take your time. Engage the hip hinge here, folks. So remember, more of a bow coming from the hips than it is a bending of our knee. All right, if you can reach through those fingertips, wake up a little extra back, challenge the core. We'll go 2 more. All right, and final one. All right, from here we come to the floor, kneeling position. As we get into that corner, that single knee down, other foot straight out in front of the hip here. Right, so I've got knee and foot aligned with the hip. Then my opposite hand comes behind my head. I'm going to lean forward and pull the elbow back. And then as I sit back, little crunch from here. And bring it forward, breathe in, open chest and shoulder. Breathe out and stretch a little bit of the back of that forward leg. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And let's go 1 more here. Inhale forward, exhale back. Okay, let's do a switch. Opposite knee to the floor, opposite foot in front, opposite hand behind you. Let's lean it in, pull it back, and then drive back that back leg stretch. Inhale forward, exhale back. Good. As you come back, see if you can pull the toes up with you. And we'll go 1 more, last one. Inhale forward, exhale back. All right, from here we're gonna stand on up, everybody. So we're gonna bring it into our first block. It's blind balance to start us out. And what we're gonna do for blind balance today are some calf raises. We want our feet to just be shoulder width apart. We're gonna have our hands relaxed here or at the sides. We're gonna close those eyes. We're gonna lift up, beginning in 3, in 2, in 1. Go ahead and come up onto the toes, lifting the heels up, and then back down. Woo, I'm dealing with a little bit here. Perfect, so smile through it. Engage the core. As we go into the toes, this is a good way to get the front of the body active. Think about how the legs up front and the core become active. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Let's bring it down to the floor. We're going Superman position next to start out our core 4. So with our Superman, we're going to be all the way up. We're going to have one hand reach to our side, come back up, and then go ahead and switch those sides. We'll get started in 2, in 1. So Jackson's going to keep himself nice and still. I'm going to give you that more manageable option of the W here. So elbows kind of right at the sides of my body, lifting up and then extending an arm, bringing it back into the shoulder. Opposite side, extend that arm, bring it back in. Whatever you're doing, you're staying still in your movement. You got less than 10 seconds, and then we're going to go straight into a scorpion kick with our arms wide and our body flat. In 3, in 2, in 1. Take your arms out wide, stay flat to the floor, bring one foot up and kick it across to the opposite side. Control it back to the floor, switch it over. We want a nice bend into that knee. We want to work on side extension, so we got kind of twist open, as well as control that return of the twist back down to the floor. Practice those last few. 3, 2, and 1. And then last up, side plank position. We're going to stack our knees and go clams. So we want elbow under shoulder. We want knees stacked at a 90 degree. We're going to come down, and then we're going to open that top knee. Bring it back down, open it back up. And where I want you to identify your hip, top of the hip right here, pulling that knee up. Bring it down into that crunch, open and exhale. We'll go 2, 1, turn it, switch it, same thing. Identify knees being stacked, toes being stacked, elbow under shoulder, and then we can roll from there. Crunch it down, open it back up. Inhale coming down, exhale going up. All right. And as we open up, let's think about those back muscles pulling back. Let's think about that top hip. 3, 2, 1. Now, we'll have our cardio facing the floor. It's going to be a plank punch. So regular plank position, one punch out in front of you, and your manageable option will have you doing this from the knees. 3, 2, go ahead and begin. Once again, I'm going to show you that manageable option here. Hips stay low to the floor, and one strong punch at a time. Try to keep that body still into what you're doing. We're going to go for about 10 more seconds. If you need a break, don't feel like you can't bend your knees. You always got an option for a breather. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Bend your knees, rest, recover. You all are officially warm. It is a nice high five time going on over here. We're going to have to go over 3 movements up next for you. So you can join us, or you can use this as a quick water break. We're going to do a common movement first for our slow, moderate, fast combo. First one is a combo. We're going to use 2 of our moderate weights, and it's going to be a squat plus 2 single leg deadlifts. So we're going to have our weights down at our side for the squat. We're going to just get into a regular squat going down nice and slow in that first round, and then the weights stay close by for a single leg deadlift. Then we switch to the other side. All right, then we'll come back to that squat. Weights at the side still through there. All right, that's your first movement. Your second movement is weight optional. What we're gonna do is do a step back lunge to having kind of a round kick as we come forward. So I want your feet together, room to step back for the lunge first. We're gonna make the step back lunge happen first. And then as we come up, we're gonna kind of wrap that leg around and down and then switch. So slow lunge, kind of wrapping a leg kick around and switching it over. All right, one more. All right, third and final move. Remove the weights, come down to the floor, plank position. I'm gonna cue you guys timing-wise for doing some walkout planks here. So give me a good plank position. We're gonna walk those hands out nice and far so we get that big extended plank. I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, and then you're gonna walk it back in, and then I'll cue us to walk back out and to hold that for a little bit longer in the first round. We'll pick up pace in the second and third round. And of course, that matter of option I'm gonna give you, and that's gonna be done from the knees. So we start with those 3 movements. You're gonna need 2 moderate weights to get started for that squat and single, or that double single leg deadlift. Double single leg deadlift. 2 of them, back to back.
Do you want me facing forward or sideways for this one?
Second one, let's get you facing forward, but first one, you can pick and choose through there. All right, folks, so let me get this clock up and running for us. We'll get started in 10 seconds. So it is the squat to 2 single leg deadlifts getting started in 3, 2, 1. Really slow in the beginning. I challenge you to kind of find how slow can you make that through there. Weights stay close to the leg in front as we do these single leg deadlifts. Getting back to that nice slow, maybe even low squat. Drive it up. Practice the balance here. Shoulder blades stay pinned down. Ab muscles stay tight. All right, back to that slow squat. So per usual, as we get into these slow movements, I love you to really take your time and to find and feel the nuances of what's going on. We're gonna go finished in 3, in 2, in 1. We go weight optional for the step back lunge and round kick next. So weight optional, if you want the weights, they're gonna be here. Slow step back lunge, and then wrap around kick before we switch. 3, 2, 1. Slow step back lunge, wrap that leg around, and switch. Awesome. So you know what I want in front. With that knee, we're going to stack it on top of that foot continually. We're going to think about it never caving inwards, but trying to stay a little bit to the outside continually. Woo! All right, and then after this, we're going to go to the floor and we're going to do those walkout planks. And once again, I will be timing you through those. We got 10 seconds left through here. Nicely done with the balance. The slow is our balance. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. The weights go down, we go to the floor. It's a plank position next, and we're going to walk out into some extended planks and hold. I'm going to show you the manageable option on the knees. We're going to get started and follow my timing in 3, in 2, in 1. Walk it out and hold it. Okay, so we're going to hold it here. We're going to go 3, 2, 1, walk it back in. All right, now switch your hand that walks you out. Walk it out, hold it, breathe. Okay. Walk it back in. Once again, switch your hand that walks you out, and hold it. Good, breathe. Walk it in. Switch it, out, hold it. We're going to keep it a little longer. Back in. All right, let's do one more. Out and hold it. Keep it here, breathe through it. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Walk it in. Nicely done. Let's get everybody standing. We go straight into our moderate pace next. We've got both our weights. It is our squat to our 2 single leg deadlifts in 3, in 2, in 1. Normal pace this time, normal pace. All right, remember with a good deadlift, I want to make sure that those shoulder blades stay pinned back and down, and that's going to force the weights to stay really close to the leg in front. All right, control through that good squat. Medium pace, 10 seconds remaining. After this, you can keep the weights or ditch them for that step back lunge and wrap around kick. 3, 2, 1. Okay, next up, weights or none, step back lunge with the wrap around kick and we'll switch with each of the feet, beginning in 3, in 2, in 1. Step back lunge, and then bring it on in. Now remember, our pace is picked up a little bit. We're not flying through it yet. We'll get that opportunity soon. And take just a couple minutes if I'm not mistaken. All right, abs. Keep them locked up right here. Think about that forward heel, that forward leg. That is our power, that is our balance through here. We got 10 more seconds, and then we'll go down to that plank position. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Bring it down to the floor, extended planks. This time your timing is your own, but give me at least a 1 second hold on the out. Beginning in 3, in 2, in 1. Find extension, then bring it back in. Switch. You need to practice changing which hands you walk in and out with. And start to kind of increase our neurotransmitting ability between left and right usage. All right, nice job, everybody. Go to a point where you feel safe. You don't need to be extending yourself beyond kind of safe parameters. And of course, you can be on the knees is that manageable option. We go finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Go ahead and stand up. Grab your 2 weights. This time we go at our faster clip. So we're gonna go squat and single leg deadlifts in 3, in 2, in 1. Continue to keep those fundamentals the same. Keep those weights close to the forward leg. There we go. Find control. Keeping those feet about shoulder width throughout the squat. 2, 1. All right. Next up, step back lunge with the wrap around kick. We get started in 3, in 2, in 1. Once again, we picked up that pace a little bit.
Ready, here we go.
If you guys did what we just did, you screwed up a little bit, take a moment, reset it, figure it back out again, and then get to it. Awesome. Continue to find that leg in front as your power. In 3, in 2, in 1. To the floor, plank position. Fast walkouts for that plank as we finish out. 3, 2, and 1. Walk it out, walk it in. If you can, try to work on switching those hands. Smooth breathing. Come on, folks. 10 seconds left here. Finished up in 2, in 1. Take a small breather. Woo!
Oh, man.
All right, we've got a minute of downtime, then we jump into that blind balance core 4 combo. Recover for a well-earned minute here. All right, so you shake it out a little bit if you're cruising around, you got your water in you. A little bit of movement is always a good idea. It keeps the blood still kind of pumping, getting that oxygen, pulling some of the CO2 stuff out of you. We got 20 seconds and we'll go blind balance. Let's remember our blind balance is going to be our calf raises through here today. We'll start with that. And our start time will have us going in 10 seconds. All right, get in a comfortable position. You can gently close your eyes. We start in 3, in 2, in 1. Bring it up, control it back down. Best you can, see if you can come back down slow. All right, feel the front of the body turn on more here. Woo, 10 seconds. Jackson and I were talking before this. I was like, yeah, I think this one we can control a little better. Fail. 3, 2, 1. Come on down to the floor. Arms outstretched, Superman position. We're going to start this out with our core 4. And once again, we're gonna stay still and just do single arm reach backs or W reach backs in 3, in 2, in 1. So I'm showing you that W position here. I'm just gonna simply straighten that arm and then bend the hand back into the shoulder. Okay. Jackson's trying to keep his body still except for just that single arm. Maybe he's even tapping his thigh as he comes down through there. After this, we're gonna go scorpion kicks in 10. Awesome, smooth breathing. Scorpion kicks in 3, in 2, in 1. Go ahead and outstretch the arms. Pull one foot up, kick over to the opposite side, control it down, switch it over. Yeah, so smooth. Let's think about rotators through here. You got a lot of rotation in that core, got a lot of stabilization of that spine through our rotators. Find that, feel that. 3, 2, 1, side plank position. These are our clams. We've got the knees bent, we've got the knees stacked, and elbow under the shoulder. Let's lift it up. Everything comes in, everything opens at the top. Find that nice little crunch on the down. Find some opener with your back and your hips at the top. Yeah, we're gonna inhale coming down. We're gonna exhale, opening up. Once again, find and feel that top hip. All right, go ahead and switch it. Opposite side, stack those knees, elbow under shoulder, crunch it down, open up. And once again, the top of this hip right here, we've got some glute muscles that I really want you to activate, to find and to feel through this. When we're done with this, our cardio is gonna have us doing plank punches. 2, 1, turn towards the floor, get into a good plank position. We'll have 30 seconds left of doing these strong single punches. Try to keep your body still. We get started in 3, in 2, in 1. One good punch and one breath out with each of those punches. You're doing great. Work on intensity and still through that body. 10 seconds remaining here. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. That is good. Take a well-earned breather. We are over the hump. You are more than halfway through this thing. Be proud of yourself. Hopefully you got some sweat going on out there. I'd like to tell, kind of one of my lines that I like to say to my clients is, I take it personally if you guys don't sweat. So make sure you're getting some sweat out there. You don't want me to take things personal. We can ramp things up real quick when that happens. All right, so let's get into our extended Tabata. Jackson and I will show you what's going on. First 2 movements are being done on each of our sides, and what I want you to really have around is that single heavy weight for this, okay? Now, of course, you could go a couple moderates, you could even go a single moderate. You've always got options, but if you want the intensity, today's our heavy day. We're gonna start out with our feet together. We're gonna do a side-stepping sumo squat, so a little bit wider than normal for our squat. We'll bring it down, and then feet together and press the weight up. Now, as we practice, we're gonna go to each side, right? So we're just gonna kind of work on doing that as we practice those first 4 reps. But when we get into it, we're doing one side only for that 30, and then we'll switch it. Okay, our second movement, this one gets fun. We're gonna get into a single leg squat. So you can keep that weight in your right hand. I want your left foot to be down here. We're gonna go single leg squat, which is here. Now, my side angle's gonna show it as a little condensed, right? I'm gonna have my weight in my forward leg. And then from here, I'm gonna open up my chest, my eyes up forward, and I'm gonna do a bicep curl in the opposite arm. Okay, so we're holding still into that single leg squat, and we're rocking out some heavy bicep curls on one side. Then we'll switch it over and hit that extra second side. Third movement, we come down to the floor, we go onto our backs. It is a dead bug with a heavy weight going to our opposite shoulder, reaching overhead. So let's get you here, our dead bug top position. We've got our knees bent, we've got our hands straight up above the shoulders. We're gonna extend one leg and reach the hands to the opposite shoulder, and we'll pull everything back in and switch. Good, inhale as you extend, exhale as you crunch back in. Give me one more. All right, fourth movement is a hip press with a march. So you can use the weight, or you're free to put the weight at your side. Give me your hip press first here. We're gonna maintain this. You're gonna do a single leg lifting up before we switch it over. And our goal is to keep still once again with the body. Okay, control this, keep those hips in the same place. Now our final movement, we're gonna remove the weight. We're gonna get into a movement that I used to call the sawing Birddog. I'm gonna change it into the Synched Birddog. But essentially, we're gonna get into that point where we've got kind of a crunch at the bottom of our Birddog. We're gonna extend the leg just like we have in the past, except this time, we're gonna turn and open the opposite shoulder and reach back with the hand. So let's practice this again. You're gonna crunch down and in, and then you're gonna extend one leg back and the opposite hand. Eyes turn as we get some extra rotation at the top of that. All right, so we'll practice going through that. Our first round might be a little bit more exploratory and learning it. Second round, we're definitely looking to kind of master that sort of movement. Once again, a heavy weight is going to be really beneficial for doing the majority of these. We're going to get you started in 10 seconds, folks, so get that heavy weight. We're going to do that side-stepping sumo squat to one side only and a shoulder press in 3, in 2, in 1. Step it out, and then up and press. Same side. Out, up and press. Inhale down, exhale up. There we go. So you find a rhythm. Okay, now if you needed an option, you're just not going as low into here. You might not be pressing up the arms as high at the top. Jack's doing a great job of showing you depth. 3, 2, 1. We've got 10 of rest. Second side comes on up. And once again, feet just lightly wider than the shoulders as our step out. 3, 2, 1. Out and up. Inhale, exhale. Good. Think high press at the top. Reach. Get the back shoulders to turn on at the top of that. And as Jackson showed you depth into that squat, yes please. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Next up, single leg squat. Opposite hand is holding the weight. If my left foot's down, my right hand's holding. We start in 3, in 2, in 1. It's a bicep curl. We're going to keep chest up, eyes up. Keeping that weight in the forward heel, of course. All right. And then what I love seeing and pointing out with Jackson is that other arm extension, right? Kind of turning on that left side of the body through here. If he wants, he could bend the knees and get lower to increase what he's getting out of it. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Let's go ahead and stand up and switch. Opposite hand's holding that weight now. Opposite leg is doing our balance. Let's sit into it in 3, in 2, in 1. Control through there. Okay, remember, condensed in your stance, so we don't need to be too far back here. Kind of keeping both knees a little closer together. There we go. Good. Locked on that right side. Core and eyes fixated into single points. 10 more seconds, and then we'll go on to our back for that dead bug reach. Let's go finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Come down to the floor, onto your back. Dead bug position. Knees bent, hands up. 3, 2, 1. Opposite arms reaching out to that leg extending. As you come up, push that low back down into the floor. There you go. Find your rhythm. When we finish this movement, we're going to have our hip press march next. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. You can keep the weight or you can ditch the weight. If you want it, place it on the hips. Hip press with the march in 3, in 2, in 1. Get into that hip press and hold. And then we go single leg lifts. This could be a very small leg lift if this is a challenging movement for you. Most importantly, we're trying to keep still with our hip line. Try to keep that body in the same position as we switch the legs. All right, we're going to turn around and go synced bird dog in 3, in 2, in 1. Turn yourself around, remove the weight if you have it. We're going to come into the crunched position of the bird dog. 3, 2, 1. We're going to extend the leg and then reach that other opposite arm behind you. Come back into the crunch. Kick back, opposite hand and leg. All right, the eyes turn. You lift the shoulder at that point. All right, finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Let's go ahead and down, switch it over. Start in the crunched position and then extend behind you. Beginning in 3, in 2, in 1. Extend opposite hand and foot straight back. Again, turn the eyes, rotate and open that shoulder. Ten seconds, folks, 10 seconds. Find that smooth motion. 3, 2, and rest. Woo!
Yeah.
Sweat factory. We clocked in. It's going. It's happening.
Sean doesn't need his workout today either.
You guys are my workout. Got to run my gums for an hour. All right. Well, treat yourself to a little bit of hydration. We got one more round left. Let's make it great. Get what energy you need. You're going to need that heavy weight with what we're doing. All right, shake it out a little bit. It's official. We start in 10. So let's get feet together, heavy weight in front of us. Sumo squat to a shoulder press in 3, in 2, in 1. Drive up tall. Squat low if you can. There we go. Find that rhythm. Once again, more manageable approach. We're not going too low, right? And maybe we're not even pressing up that high. But we're still finding that good quality squat. 3, 2, 1. Nice, everybody. Rest for 10. Second side coming up. We got this. Zone into it. Feet together. 3, 2, 1. If you're feeling good, maybe you're starting to put a little pop into the top of this. Get some extra power into the press. Once again, more manageable approach. You just monitor depth. All right. After this, we're going to be getting into that single leg squat and that bicep curl. 3, 2, 1. Right hand holding left foot to the floor, right foot off the floor. You're going to get tall and bicep curl in 3, in 2, in 1. Okay, that forward knee is bent. We got power in that forward leg. All right, that other arm is extended out to the side. We're tightening those core muscles, locking ourselves into place with this powerful lift. There we go. If you can keep condensed in the legs, even better. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Recover for a moment. Let's change the hands. Next foot coming up. Keep it condensed. Beginning in 3, in 2, in 1. There we go. Your upper body locked in place. Your lower body strong through that power leg right here, folks. All right. right, as you lift up, breathe out. Lift up and breathe out. After this, we'll be going onto our back for that dead bug reach. Beginning in 3, in 2, in 1. Let's take it to the floor with that weight. Onto your back dead bug position. Knees bent, hands up. We start in 3, in 2, in 1. As you come up, it's a low back press at the top. Find that, feel that. Okay, we got 10 more seconds through here. We'll go hip press marches to follow. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Hip press, if you want it, that weight's going on the hips and staying there. Hips stay still through the lifts. Beginning in 3, in 2, in 1. Now as I'm here, I like to give my elbows just a little bit of a press down into the floor. And that's gonna wake up my shoulders and my back muscle behind me. Of course, I wanna feel kind of my butt working to manage the balance and the strength of the single leg lift. 10 seconds, and then we'll flip around to that synched bird dog to finish our day. 3, 2, 1. Let's put the weight away. Let's turn ourselves around, hands and knees position. We'll find ourselves into the crunch of that bird dog first. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. 2, 1. Crunch it in. Extend with both, looking back. Okay, so control right here, right? Opening of that shoulder. Extension through that leg, feeling the heel and the butt as you kick through. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Go ahead and prep for the next side. Keep those hands under your body in good position with those lats engaged. In 3, in 2, in 1. Open and look. Crunch it down. Exhale as you kick back. Let's find back muscles everywhere working at the top. Got last 10 seconds, folks. Last 10. Smooth to that finish line. 3, 2, and 1. Woo!
Okay.
All right, my man.
Not done yet.
Not done yet. 1 to go. Blind balance is where we will start, folks. I want you to stand up. I'm going to change that clock so we got 10 seconds. Calf raises with our eyes closed. Let's get started in 3, in 2, in 1. Bring it up. Control it down. All right, lift up. Feel the front of the body. Work to control the return down. 10 seconds, we'll go flat to the floor on our bellies to follow for that Superman. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Bring it flat to the floor, arms extended or W hold position. We'll do single arm reaches back. We'll get started in 3, in 2, in 1. Once again, W. Elbows staying real close to you if you need a little assistance, if you need to be a little lighter on that low back area. Find extension of that arm right beside your hip at the bottom. After this, we're going to our scorpion kicks. Okay, arms are going to go wide. We'll get to scorpion kicks in 3, in 2, in 1. Extend those arms out, lift one foot up, wrap it around to the opposite side, control it as it returns back down. All right, find your breath, find Find some opening of the front of each of these hips as we go. 3, 2, and 1. Turn to your side. Side plank, clam opener. Stack those knees. Bring everything down. Open everything up, keeping those big toes together. Inhale down, exhale up. If you can really open at the top, let's do that. Let's really press the body away from the floor at the top of this. Let's really pull those shoulders back at the top of this. 3, 2, and 1. Turn it, switch it, opposite side. Get right into it. Crunch it down, open it up. Find that zone. Once again, try to push your body away from that floor at the top. Maybe you'll feel a little extra engagement through the core in that press. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Turn towards the floor. Plank position and punches wraps your day up, folks. Give me still, give me strong, give me crisp, give me clean in 3, in 2, in 1, get punching. If you're on those knees, those hips got to stay forward here. I do not want that butt up. You keep them tucked under, and you're giving me one strong punch. If you can, maybe even you're visualizing where that punch is going. You got 10 seconds, folks. 10 seconds. Keep that breathing. 3, 2, and 1. Rest. Recover. High five. All right. Jackson, we did it, my man.
Yay!
Woo! Man, I tell you, these things get sweatier and sweatier.
I think that's more you this time, man.
It very well could be. I think I'm trying to make these better workouts for myself here as long as I can keep managing to fumble enough proper words out of my mouth. We're doing all right. All right, folks. Well, it is time for you to recover. Jackson knows that position that I prefer the most, where you lie down on your back, you take your arms overhead, and you just allow your body to open right here. Open up the chest, the belly, the back. It's that perfect time to just kick into that deeper, slower breathing. It's also kind of that perfect time to think back about what you just accomplished and give yourself a little pat on the back. Be stoked on what you just accomplished. That's good stuff. All right. So we'll go ahead and bring the right leg up from here. You grab the hands behind it. Get into that nice hamstring stretch first. And of course, feel free to move that foot around a little bit if that sort of thing speaks to you. I know for me, it always speaks to me. I feel like it's muscles in the top of my foot and the ankles that are really talking to me as I kind of get those rotations and those in and out eversions. All right, that leg comes a little across the body next. We get into that hip stretch more so. Once again, foot optional. Do a little movement. Let's keep the neck relaxed. And let's go ahead and bend the knee and bring that knee across the body, open into that twist. Our discussion today, we're going to talk about nuts today. Nuts being a favorite snack food of mine. You're going to find out a little bit later. A work food for Jackson. Let's go ahead and switch it up. Left leg straight up. Hamstring stretch is where we'll start on the left. Foot movement, your option. I think oftentimes I think of either nuts as being a snack food, and usually a good healthy snack food. A subsistence type of food, so it's really common for me to be kind of heavy on the nuts if I'm out backpacking, because it's going to give me good calories, good healthy fats, good proteins, good fiber, kind of a lot of the things that my body needs when I'm going into more of that tough state. Let's bring the leg a little across. Once again, foot movement if that feels good to you. They're really like packed full of good nutrients. They're a quality snack in general, as long as you're getting them without a lot of the fluff and the crud. Let's go ahead and bend the knee, get into the twist. You're gonna be looking out to your left side, and you just kind of figure out where that twist works best for you. Let's find that belly breathing one more time here, folks. Some of the other nutrients that we commonly find in basically all varieties of nuts are going to be magnesium, vitamin E. I wanted to highlight the Brazil nut kind of early on and how much selenium it has. And selenium is really like hand in hand tied into our metabolism, our thyroid, our hormonal levels. So that's a good one to add to your nut family. Let's go ahead and undo the knees from here. We're going to bring those bottom of the feet together next. And get into a little bit of that butterfly stretch. Jackson's going to stay on his back. I'm going to get into like a tall position as I sit over here. We're just actively kind of pushing those knees to the floor. Brazil nuts and the selenium within them, it also helps fight oxidative stress. So oxidative stress is what breaks down our cells and kills cells over time. And so selenium, definitely a power food. It only takes 2 Brazil nuts a day to meet your selenium goals throughout the day. Let's go ahead and untwist ourselves, and we'll go single kneeling position to follow. So we'll have our left knee down, and we'll have that right foot straight out in front of that right hip, please. Right? Line up the knee, line up the ankle. Let's bring that left hand up. If that right hand can kick out to the side, even better. Let's do a little butt squeezing on that left side, really get the quad to stretch in front here. And so there's been lots and lots of studies done over the years, and most recently there was a meta-analysis done of some 33 various studies, and basically the goal was to look at weight loss or weight gain effects throughout the majority of these studies. What did they find? Let's go ahead and bring the hand down, bring that foot across. Let's get into the pigeon pose to follow. You get yourself to a comfortable point, whether that's up onto the hands or down on the elbows. Just find that for you. Well, they basically found out that even high consumption of nuts, which are a high caloric food, a high fatty food, it has little effect on weight, and specifically little effect on weight gain. However, they did find for those people that definitely ate more nuts than others, they tended to live longer, and they tended to have fewer number of chronic diseases associated with them. Let's go ahead and bring ourselves up. Let's switch our knee down into that kneeling position. Right knee down, left foot in front. We'll bring that right hand up. We'll get a little squeeze into the right side behind you. And breathe, folks, breathe. Let's find that nice big inhale, that nice slow, long exhale. Not only that, like as far as the chronic diseases that were found to be in significantly smaller numbers in the general population, but they also, to probably very little of our surprises, had lower blood pressure through there. They had lower cholesterol levels. Once again, healthy fats do not necessarily correlate to having unhealthy levels of cholesterol in the body. Let's go ahead and bring that knee across, that foot across, and lower down into your pigeon pose from here. In fact, there was a cool study that I wanted to highlight on this one. There was over 1,200 people that were studied that were doing 2 variations of your Mediterranean diet. One of them with olive oil, and the other one with 30 grams of nuts a day. And they basically found that those who were sticking to the nuts were having a lot better results when we were talking about those same things, those chronic diseases, that blood pressure, any of those kind of markers that we're using for overall health. As we're down here, let's get a nice big inhale in, a nice long exhale out. We'll start to make our way up and out of that, and we'll get into like a nice seated pattern, do a little neck rolling, maybe even a little forearm stretching, depending on how you want to finish your day. But generally, identifying the best nut, I was like, well, let's figure out like what's the #1 nut. Everyone had some variations of usually 4 nuts at the top of their list. They had some walnuts onto there. They had pecans. They had almonds. Almonds was often at the very top. And then last up, they had pistachios as kind of those top 4. One group labeled peanuts is the highest. And generally speaking, I've never really thought of peanuts as being like one of those superior nuts. But it does have a bunch of like those polyphenols and a lot of the good healthy fats associated with it. It's just a lot of times peanuts are so produced that they tend not to come from good sources, or they get mixed with a lot of things like sugars or heavy salts or that in the process. And that's why peanut butter, although there's plenty of good options through there, you kind of need to look at those labels and identify what's not putting a bunch of junk in there for you. Last up on my end, I just wanted to say that by far my favorite nut is the pine nut. It is so expensive. It is so good though. Throw it on salads. I am sold on the pine nut always. And then I wanted to leave Jackson to talk to you guys a little bit too, because he had a really great little addition to this as well.
I've been back to work for a little while, and we've been briefed that the refrigerators and other multi-use areas shouldn't be used anymore, and so that's where I'd usually stash my lunch that I bring from home. But now I've basically changed that out, and I've added a lot more roasted unsalted almonds to my lunch, and I don't eat as much, and I stay satiated for a lot longer.
Great at-work snack, like we were saying, you know, works great for backpacking and that, and now avoiding the COVID on top of all of it. And oh, one last thing, I love that he said roasted and unsalted and that. Like, try if you can to not necessarily add the salt or the sugary stuff to this stuff. Keep it in its raw form, or at least, you know, cooked for, what is it, our pistachios and our cashews. Those got to be cooked.
Is that right?
Yeah, cashews are actually super poisonous if you don't eat them cooked.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Fun
fact for the day.
Look it up.
All right, everybody.
Fact check them.
Enjoy. Hopefully we learned some nut education here today.